All right, we're on standby to take you to the Bibas family funeral, but now let's bring in former Victorian Liberal Party President Michael Kroger and Quillette founder Claire Lehmann. Welcome to you both. And let's start with this scare campaign on Dutton's property portfolio. I mean, Michael Kroger, do you think, from your extensive experience in politics, these sort of tactics work with voters?
Well, they can work if it forces the resignation of the political figure involved, but they've fired a blank so far. Peter Credlin on her show's answered the question about the share acquisitions, and you know, you send someone like Murray Watt in. Murray's never had a job in industry. Murray's been a staffer and a politician and a lawyer. Doesn't seem to understand that the Dutton family, Peter Dutton and his father, were in the construction business. Well, Murray, what you do in the construction business is you buy a block of land. If you've got a building licence, you build a house, you then on-sell it and you make a profit, you go on to the next one. You do that multiple times. You might, as the Duttons did, I gather, buy an old childcare centre land and buildings or a house, renovate it into a childcare centre, on-sell it. And you do that for as many times as you can. That's what people do in the construction industry. Builders build homes and they sell them. They buy the block of land, subdivide it, they build a house and sell it. So he's sort of attacking, you know, the fact that the Duttons were in business in the building industry. So anyone in the building construction industry looking at this is absolutely laughing at Murray Watt, because it just shows you he's got no idea how industry works. But look, at another level, this is not working, because people can't pay their mortgages, they can't buy food, right? That's how bad things are in Australia today. What they want from Albo is what is his grand plan for a second term? And all they see is this muckraking by Murray Watt. It's not helping Albo. No, it makes it very clear to people that the cupboard's bare.
It's a good point. Albanese hasn't outlined any vision or agenda for his second term. But, you know, Claire, back to this. It strikes me that it's a little bit early for the Dirt Unit to kick off. We're not officially in the election campaign yet.
It is a little bit early, but I would just push back on some of the comments that have been shared tonight and argue that it is a problem for the Liberal Party. It's a problem because they have issues attracting young people. And we all know the statistics now. You know, in the 1980s, for example, you would need 3 times the median wage, the median salary to afford a median home. Now it's something like 13 times. So people on a median wage in Sydney cannot afford a median home. And you're getting to the point where people of a younger generation have to save for a deposit their whole, you know, take many years to save for a deposit. Then when they earn enough to service a mortgage, they're in their 40s, they go to the bank, they're too old for a loan. So our society has locked out an entire generation from home ownership. That's a huge problem for Conservatives. And the issue is simply, it's not that Peter Dutton has a property portfolio, it's that the Liberals need to differentiate themselves from Labor when it comes to the housing issue. It's not rocket science, we know how to fix this problem. They need to say, we're going to stem migration and we're going to increase supply. And they need to take those two things very seriously and prosecute a case for that. If they don't, young people just won't engage.
Yeah, I think housing affordability is an issue for both of the major parties. And, you know, Albanese's purchase of the Copacabana mansion, of course, well, if voters were struggling, they'd probably hold that against him as well. Now, let's have a look at this issue of...
But Sherry, before you do, to answer Claire, the Duttons were building houses and building childcare centres, Claire. They weren't detracting from the property supply, the housing supply, they were adding to it.
Oh, yeah, this is not a personal thing against Dutton. I'm not suggesting Dutton has done anything wrong. It's just that the Liberal Party itself needs to have stronger policy, a stronger policy framework to tackle this issue. I mean, the person to look at is Pierre Poilievre in Canada. He's the only Conservative leader in the world who is popular with young people, and he's popular with young people because he's targeting housing as the #1 issue.
And I guess the opposition is doing that, as you say, through saying we're going to bring down immigration levels to take the pressure off housing.
Yeah.
All right, I want to get to this issue because it's been such a shocking revelation today. Albanese under fire for misleading the public when he claimed incorrectly that China had given notice to Australia of their warship exercises. Have a look at Albanese's earlier inaccurate claim.
Australian ships travel to the South China Sea, and where that is, the hint's there in the name very clearly, and we participate in those activities, including our Navy. There was notice given. We have made it clear that we think more notice should have been given.
Now, Albanese has misled the public on this, and we know that because today in Senate estimates it was revealed that air safety authorities were alerted to the exercise 30 minutes after they began. 30 minutes after, and that was only thanks to a Virgin pilot. Have a look.
The only way you knew about this was because a Virgin pilot heard about it and called in.
Correct.
Correct. Thank you, Virgin pilot.
All right, well, Michael Kroger, you know, this is clearly the Prime Minister. He's been exposed for misleading the public.
Look, Shari, let's be honest about Albo. To make a point we've made before, he's not up to this job. I mean, I've known most of the Prime Ministers in this country dating back to the 1970s. In nearly every case, they were highly gifted, highly intelligent people, a number of Rhodes Scholars, Oxford graduates, very clever people. You have to be smart to be Prime Minister because you've got to be across 100 different issues on any given day. Albo's never been a detailed person. He wasn't across the detail. He just gave an answer that he came into his head at the time that, oh, there was proper warning, because he always thinks there's warning, so that's what he knows. So he says, oh, they gave us warning, thinking that's what happened. He didn't know that they hadn't given warning. He had no idea. He wasn't across the detail in the slightest until it's been revealed today. Good old Virgin helped us out. So did he deliberately mislead? The hard-headed people would say, yes, he did, it's terrible, blah, blah, blah. Look, what do I think? I think he had no idea what he was talking about, as is the case with a lot of these issues. He just hasn't got the intellectual capacity to be across the detail. I'm sorry about that, but that's the fact of the matter, Shari.